Any smart advertiser knows that the key to advertising is to know your audience, and it's no different on Amazon. In the beginning, it was really simple. Simply find the right keywords, target those keywords, and you got in front of your audience. With recent changes, Amazon has given us more tools to find our audience even earlier on in the buying cycle. In this video, I'm going to go over all those different audiences and how to find your audience so that you can properly target them and get more sales on Amazon. So stay tuned. So now this video is not going to be about how to find the most direct relevant keywords, because we have other videos that show you how to do that. This is going to be for sellers who are looking to cast a wider net, to get in front of shoppers maybe a little bit before they're ready to purchase your product. Get in front of these shoppers who may be interested in purchasing your product at a later time, or just giving shoppers general awareness as to the product that you are selling and showing up at certain times in the customer buying cycle. So we have broken this cheat sheet down into 3 different columns. And first I want to go over what this cheat sheet is all about, just to give people an idea as to how this is all laid out. So first we have the affinity overlap audiences, and this is going after the widest reach. This is almost like putting a billboard ad on the highway. Well, we're going after the largest audience. We're trying to get in front of people who likely will have some kind of interest in our product, but we're really not quite sure. We're casting a wide net. Now, when you have access to DSP, you actually do have access to affinity audiences. So if I was going to put into something like grilling brush, I can see that people who purchase a grilling brush also might be interested in camping tents or something else that's related, but not really related. It's sort of like the same audience might be interested in both products. That is what an affinity audience is. Now we can use this knowledge and we can use this awareness if we have the budget to really target this audience, because this is going after more of a reach target. So it's going to be a little bit more costly to do this. So you want to make sure you have a budget to do this. What we can do is we can identify those categories where our main product, there might be some reach and might be some affinity to those other categories. So let me give you an example here. When I typed in cat litter mat, the affinity audience inside of DSP was dog treats category, and even cooking books and rabbit cages. I mean, these are things that are not really related to cat litter mats, but according to Amazon, people who purchase cat litter mats probably have an affinity to also purchase these products as well, and I can cast a wide net. Now, Amazon also gave us some very simple ways to do this inside of Sponsored Display recently, and I want to dive into that right now. All right, so interest. Shopping activities suggest a durable interest in a specific category. So we could then target interests that are directly related to our category, or perhaps we know a little bit more about our audience and we know what they are interested in that's different from our exact category. We could then target them earlier on in the buying cycle. And when you go into Amazon, you can click over here under Sponsored Display. You'll see Views, Remarketing, and Amazon Audiences. Then what you could do is just add a product, and you'll see that Amazon Audiences shows up over here, and under the interest category, a bunch of things are going to show up. So we have entertainment, we have books, we have science, we have history, we have toys and games. So perhaps people are interested in video games and you're selling a video game controller. So these would be a lot of great potential targets that you can do for your product. So I encourage you to dive into this and to do a brainstorming session, really get to know your audience, start thinking about what your audience might be interested in, and know that this could be a good way to target them very earlier on in the buying cycle. Next, we have lifestyle. So shopping and streaming behaviors suggest lifestyle preferences and affinities. All right, so let's dive in. I'm going to get rid of the interests by collapsing that. Let's go into lifestyle. So here we have automotive ownership. If people are new to category, maybe they're just searching something like a keto lifestyle for the first time and you sell keto products. Shoppers who are into different brands, Whole Foods Market, Amazon Fresh, Prime Pantry. So this is a great way to study your audience and get in front of them and cast a wider net. But as you can see, this is a really wide net. And unless you know specifically that your audience is into, let's say, certain types of Twitch entertainment or the characteristic of a gift giver. Like, unless you know these things specifically, it's really hard to target. You have to test all this stuff out. The other thing that you can't do is you can't do and or. So I can't target shoppers and gift givers, and cancel things out and target specifically. I can only target one of these audiences at a time. I can't negate part of an audience by doing an and or. So that makes a big difference as well when you're getting your targeting done. All right, next we have the life events. So this is another way to do a wider reach. Life events is down over here. And you can see that there's different life events like recent movers and new parents and recently moved, traveling soon, a new pet owner. So, if I know that I am selling something for kittens and they're a new pet owner, I may want to target this. The point is, knowing your audience is super critical. All right, so that is the affinity overlap audience. Next, I want to get into the discovery audience. So now we're still going and casting on net, but it's not as wide as the affinity audience. This is what we call the discovery audience. So for example, if I am selling a litter mat, I could go after the litter category or the litter box category or the cat food category. So it's a little bit more niched down into, and I know that people who are cat owners are basically going to maybe be potentially interested in my product. So I'm targeting the audience as a whole that would be interested in my product. It's much more specific, but it's still discovery because it's not exactly my category. So here's an example. We could do cat food, we could do cat toys if I am selling a litter mat. Very simple and straightforward. So the last column on the audience targeting cheat sheet is the consideration audience. Now this is when we're looking to get as many touch points as possible with a hyper relevant audience who is likely interested in purchasing our product. We want to show up multiple times so that they consider us over our competition. And Amazon gives us many ways to do that. So as an example, let's say we're selling litter mats. We would want to target the litter mat category and all of the ASINs in the litter mat category. Now there's other ways to do this with the recent rollout. We have the sponsored display similar to advertised audience. So check this out. This has been around for quite some time. This wasn't with the most recent rollout, but if I go to, I'm gonna go back to all. If I go to views remarketing, you can see over here that we have the category of similar to advertised products. So this is basically saying to Amazon, hey, I want to retarget those people who have looked for my product but have not purchased in the last 30 days so that they consider my product over the competition. And once again, you could also do your own advertised product, which I highly suggest doing because this will put your ad out in front of shoppers once again to get those touch points. So that is similar to advertised audience. Next, we have sponsored display in market. Now this is really good and it's in the consideration phase if it's specific to your category. So let me go over here to Amazon audiences. We're gonna go to in market. If any of these markets really directly match your category, then you know shoppers are in market for this product. This screams to me the consideration phase of the buying cycle. The trick is making sure that the category that you target over here is relevant to what you are selling. If it's not, then it's probably going to be more of a discovery or even the affinity audience stage. So the next way to possibly target the consideration phase is in the life events section. So once again, this has to be hyper relevant to what you're selling. If you go over here under the life events, there's a couple of things like new parent, recent movers, recently moved, traveling soon. If I'm selling a traveling product and I know that somebody is traveling soon, I would likely want to target this. New pet owner, once again, getting married, all of these things could be good, but it really depends on your product. And some of this does have overlap with the discovery phase because we don't really know if people are shopping for your product. So this could also go into the discovery phase of the buying cycle. All right, last but not least, we have the searches audience. And in this section, we're targeting shoppers who searched for keywords relevant to your advertised products. Now, this is in the consideration phase because we know shoppers have already looked for keywords that are related to our product, but they haven't made that purchase yet. So we want to get back in front of them. And under the audience section, Amazon gives us the ability to do that. So who is in your audience? Make sure that you spend a few minutes figuring out who your audience is and leave a comment below if you found this video helpful. Once again, if you need any help with your Amazon advertising, click on the link below to go to PPC Entourage. The video above is a video about ASIN targeting and how to find an enormous amount of ASINs to target with your product targeting campaigns. And the video below is a video that YouTube thinks that you will like. I will see you all next week.